Here we go. We're live right now. Hello to everyone. Good evening or good morning. Live from London. Well, I'm in London. Joining me on the other side of the line is Peephole Circus. How are you
Hello.
tonight?
Yes, very good, thanks.
There you
I thought you were going to say the other side of the world then for a minute.
No,
Just Wales.
the other side of the line. The other side of the line. I
Yeah.
mean, you are still in Great Britain.
Yes, South Wales.
Um, oh, there you go. If we have any Americans listening to this, I'm often they often puzzled about the name Great Britain, and just so they know, I mean, the reason why Great Britain is an island. A lot of times they get confused. They think Great Britain is a country. Great Britain is the island, originally called Britannia, named by the Romans. And the distinction, the reason why it's great, is to distinguish it from Brittany, which is on the other side in France. So a little bit of history for our American counterparts. They have serious problems understanding this.
Do you know
Fair
what?
enough. They're not taught that in school, so fair enough.
The worst thing is that's the first time I've heard that.
Oh, well,
the
there you
Brittany,
go.
the Brittany aspect.
That's it. That's why.
Yeah.
So I'm here tonight with People Circus. He's launching a book of his art this week, right? Wednesday.
Yes. This Wednesday.
Hmm.
It
Uh, Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna launch it on our CG UK show, but yeah, we could talk about that later.
Mm. Um, I mean, I've been seeing your art, and I might just as well start screen sharing it because otherwise it's just two little icons on the screen. I always find that. And first of all, I would just ask if you would like to tell us about what is your what is your experience in art? I mean, what sort of academic art education do you have, if any? I mean, again,
Yeah.
this show is never. I'm not never passing judgment on anyone. It's just to try
Yeah.
to find out a little bit of background. So why don't
Okay.
you take us through that?
All right. I suppose. But I was always one of these kids who was drawing all the time. So like, um, at the time when I finished school, I jumped straight into art college, and I did like a national diploma, which was 2 years of, well, 1 year of pretty much everything, like art, photography, uh, textiles, pottery, God knows everything. And then we specialized in the second year. So it's all experimentation at that time, but I got drawn into animation, probably because my main tutor, was an animator. So I got into that, especially computers. And then I think actually the first jobs I had was in television shows, like I did just painted animations, like Romeo the reindeer. I worked on Bible series, which was like done by Russian and Welsh people, which is crazy.
Mhm.
And moved from there into computer games, and
Mhm.
worked on a bunch of stuff like uh, I worked on a bunch of Lego games, the Lego Star Wars and stuff like that. Then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then got on to like indie games, working on a bunch of them, and I've just
Mhm.
found myself here, and this is where I am now.
Mm. Okay, so why now make the transition to what I presume is traditional materials here in terms of your art for this book? And again, this is something you've been doing for a while, and you just kept on storage, and I decide to to put it all in the book, or has this been something that you've been doing just in these last couple of years,
Yes.
or what's the deal with the art in this?
Okay, the as far as this, okay, there was a point in around 2015 where the conversation, when you speak to people, if you do this kind of work, it comes up eventually. You're gonna have to talk about it. And I remember speaking to somebody, and then he said, "Oh, I'll have to have a look at one of your drawings one time." And I realized I didn't have anything actual. It was all on a computer. So I thought, right, I'm going to take up oil painting. Like I said, about late 2015. So that was pretty difficult. And I think I spent like 2 years just painting every day. And
Hmm.
then I was thinking, oh, maybe I should put them out or something and make a book. And my painting was changing as well. And I think I got onto like EBS's channel about making the whole thing about making stuff yourself. And I thought, yeah, I'll make a book. And then I
Hmm.
got into comics, and then I thought, man, this painting that I'm doing is a lot like what I used to like doing. So I dug up my old copies of like Judgment on Gotham, Bisley's book, and because I
Right, right,
really
right.
used to love that, and also the style that I was painting was becoming more abstract, and like I'm a big fan of Ted McKeever as well. So I was at this point I was bringing up these old things that I used to like, all these old comics, and it's sort of merged. And I think I've spent especially the last year making this book. I feel like I'm getting
All
somewhere
right.
with it. I'm not sure where I'm going towards, but I like the abstract, and there's something there, and I think it's time to put a nail in this kind of nail in the coffin. No, put a you know what I mean. It's like I've done this.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to move on from this, but this is a some. It feels like a something that I have. There's a
Hmm.
theme running
Hmm.
through it, and I think it's done. So I think I'm going to put it out now.
Hmm. So, I mean, okay, first of all, what we're looking here, I got quite a few pictures here, which are direct pages from the book you're releasing on Wednesday. So, tell me just about the materials you use here. I mean, I presume these are all
Yeah,
scans from actual physical paintings. None of
yeah.
this is
I did
actual
send you a
digital.
couple
Am I
of
correct?
digital ones, but this one, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Most of these are all traditional. Yeah,
That's still traditional. Okay, and we're obviously we
yeah.
got some pen and ink here, but we're talking about acrylics and oil painting here. I
That's
mean, I'm
oil.
obviously here. I can clearly see that's all the oil, and it's just a straight. This actually looks more like a photograph, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that the process you're using here?
I
Photographic,
did this when
like
I like
yeah.
the thing is when I like my whole painting process. It's all like self-taught. And the best. I did a lot of from life as well, like doing pictures of myself
Yeah.
from that. But what tends to happen is that you always get this like mean looking face staring at you because of the concentration, and um, and the only way around that was like taking some photographs. So yeah, I did, and this one was a
But it's
broken
just
mirror. There was a shard of glass, so I was like,
oh, I see.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I dig this. I mean, like the most oil paintings, especially from the masters, when we actually see reproductions on books, they're actually photographs and not actual scans, which is something that you can do with, obviously ink work. You can just scan it.
yeah,
I presume you've done on this one. And so okay, so the book that we're talking about is called Phantom, right? So it's
yes,
a tell me how many pages is it?
44 pages.
Okay, so 44 individual paintings such as these ones, yeah?
Yes, actually, this like the ones that I've sent you, not all of them are actually in that book. There's a few not like this one is actually on the back page. It's a small image on the
Yeah.
back page.
Okay. You're
Yeah,
not gonna have a page inside the book dedicated for this particular
no,
painting? No,
no,
it's only in the back. Okay,
it's
fine,
only the back. Yeah,
fair enough. And I'm just gonna quickly run through them here. So we have I've seen I've been obviously exploring your work slowly in these last few months, and
yeah,
I've seen a lot of different stuff. So you got a bit of in terms of imagery, you got from horror to kind of more muted
yeah.
uh, paintings with kind of a muted feeling, and they seem to have also other personal seems to be very personal stuff as well in it. But there's obviously there's a lot of disturbing imagery throughout it. Not horribly disturbing,
Yes,
but there is some strong visuals here and there.
yeah,
I'm actually thinking of
This
this
is
one.
digital. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
this
pretty
one
cool.
isn't digital. Yeah, that's our paint.
Yeah, that's all these wormy, sluggish stuff like
Yeah.
octopus and pieces of flesh will combine. So you're talking about themes running through it. So okay, you gave me the catalyst to actually do the book, but then what sort of themes are you trying to explore with some of these paintings or most of these paintings? And then we can go one by one and tell us exactly what you're thinking.
Well, most of these paintings and drawings are all things are just coming out. That is sort of the motif of the whole thing. Is not so much the image themselves that as a whole it creates a kind of uneasy. Even the more happy ones seem to have a kind of uneasy thing about them, and
Hmm.
that's the sort of point of the book. Really, that's why I call it Phantom. Is because
Hmm.
of I remember looking at there are certain things. Okay, there's one book I had to look it up. Actually, I've got it here, and it was called "The Alien World: The Complete Illustrated Guide," and it was all this collection of like random images done by different artists,
Uh-huh.
but some of them are really freaky, and it was just this book that even now when I think about it, it conjures some kind of an emotional response as far as not so much nostalgia in a kind of a weird vibe that I had, and I think
Hmm.
it's influenced me along the line somewhere. So I'm trying to recreate that in a sense, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. By the way, I know most people know me just from comics. I've never been an illustration, let alone an oil painter. But it's something I always indulge very much as an art appreciator,
Yeah.
someone that likes to just be on the other side, enjoying art. I've always been a collector of art books. You know, obviously
All right.
you
Yeah.
mentioned a couple of artists there, Simon Beasley
Yeah.
and Bernie Wrightson. I always liked very much
Oh yes. I've
his paintings.
I've got a pencil page from Bernie Wrightson from Batman the Cult.
Hmm, wonderful.
It's really great.
And then obviously names like Frazetta comes to mind,
Yeah.
and also there's a British painter which was had a very big career during the 70s and throughout the 80s as well. Tim Whitey. He did a lot of illustrations, all in acrylics for books. A lot of the sci-fi
Okay.
books from the 70s and the 80s
Yeah.
are they have covers by him. And then
Sweet.
there's the Hildebrandt brothers. You know, most people will be remember of them for doing one of the posters of the original Star Wars run, and also stuff for Dungeons and Dragons, the original manuals. So I know
Yeah.
I know a little bit of, and obviously then there is all the classic painters, which you know, there's
Yeah.
so many editions, and one of the
Yeah. I'm big.
publishers that does that
A
a lot
big.
is called Passion. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you talk about painters, and I'm a big fan of like Caravaggio and Degas. I love Degas especially. I think he's probably my
Mm-hmm.
favorite. But it alternates between them two. But uh, obviously, like 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 doing anything remotely like any of those is especially
Yeah.
Caravaggio is like way beyond me. But like as far as Degas went, like it's towards like some of his later stuff, the more abstract. It and getting into comics as well because obviously I got comics coming up, and this is sort of like just a little something beforehand. But it's trying to incorporate that into comics somehow. It's interesting.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing I wanted to explore. Obviously, a couple of the names that we mentioned already had a career in comics as well. Before,
Caravaggio.
after. Yeah. Yeah. Um, you know, a lot of guys, fine art,
Yeah,
academically trained artists that went on to explore their own art through the medium of you know, sequential boards, sequential panels, and that's
true.
something very interesting. You know, I mean, you mentioned something that you're planning. Then you're planning a comic. So how? Well, first of all, what is exactly that you're planning? Because I didn't know much about that. I heard something, but I didn't. I don't have
Yeah,
the details. So why don't you
but
tell us something
to
about that?
Unfortunately, like I'm not gonna, I can't at the moment. I've got one small project. I say small. I'm not going to get any further into it, but yeah, I do have one project coming up that's a bit
Hmm.
smaller. I'm working on two others as well.
Yeah, whatever you can tell us, even if it's just a small kernel of just to have an idea of how you're going to make this transition from just these art boards to to art paintings to an actual comic. Is it going to be well, we're talking about a really small thing, like just like a showcase of something that you're planning for the future, a little bit bigger, or what is?
I'll say a showcase, and I'll leave it there.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Sorry, that's really vague, isn't it? But yeah, the thing is, like at the moment, I'm just some guy out there. I've got this book out now, and hopefully this will build. The goal is with this book is that like I got a proof copy of it printed in it, and it's really nice, thick paper, nice
Yes.
glossy pages, like a thick glossy cover with a square bound back thing and a gloss finish on it. So it looks really nice, you know. And
Yeah.
and with that you get like prints and everything like that. And I just wanted all my backers to have like this nice book with nice prints, a nice personal something to it, which will help in the next time around. I think. I hope.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And do you have any other books planned like this one, or Phantom is the first one of the series of
Yes, I'd like to do one
paintings?
every
Very good.
year. I do a lot of drawings. I mean, like for every one of these drawings in that, like some of them, like I mean, some of them could be quick to draw, but um, for every one, because of the spontaneous nature of how they come out and how I make
Mhm,
them, you know, I
mhm.
probably done about 10 or 15 drawings before I've gone like, okay, this is where I want to go with this kind of feeling with it, and a picture comes out of it somehow.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
And the thing I always like about these kind of illustrations is that he's really is down to the eye of the beholder. Like
yeah,
each one, just you look at it and you take whatever you want out of it. For example, I'm
exactly.
looking at this one. I'm thinking anime. That's me. That's I'm looking at it. And I'm thinking, all right, there's some organic motif here. I'm thinking squid. I'm thinking tentacles. Then I see
Hmm.
this guy here. He looks to me oriental, and then I think I don't know. There's some anime theme running here, and that's me. Somebody else is gonna look at it and say, completely different thing.
Yeah,
I do like this piece very much, actually, not just because of the actual technique, the hatching, and all that, but because this, I'm left here, with the duality of it. So I'm like
yeah, yeah,
looking at this background, and I'm thinking, is this the entrance to a cave, or is this the hollow trunk of a very large tree? So this could either
yes,
be stone or wood, and then
yeah,
obviously you have these veiled. This veiled creature here looks like a person, and it clearly has the same kind of texture. So the texture of the surrounding embeds
yeah,
itself in the texture of the hair piece or the veil. And again, I kind of think, is this a wood person hugging just a regularly
yeah.
dressed human, or is
It's
like could this be a Pinocchio kind of a conversion? Like the wood being slowly turning human, because I can see this hand, this arm here is slightly texturized in a different way than this one. So this is all very interesting, and this is why I'm passionate about art books like this one. It's
oh,
completely open to interpretation.
yes. I always like that aspect of stuff. You know, like the same goes for music and films as well. Like
Yeah.
it is you get out of it what you put into to these kind of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
I mean,
like like the hand there. I know like I can draw hands. Like I know the length of the hand is all wrong, but like it's the fact that it's a bit off and there are
well,
details in
yeah.
it that are sort of correct. It 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 makes you feel like it's normal, but there's something there that isn't, and it's neither evil or good. If you know, if you look at it, it could like up to you. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
up to you what
I
you
mean,
think of it.
that helps the subjectivity of the theme. Obviously, I mean, these arm
Yeah,
looking disjointed. It just reminds you of kind of a branch of the tree. So, which
yeah,
again, and
yeah.
that's if you go with the interpretation that he sees wood, but again, it could be stone, and then we could be looking at a Medusa kind of creature. So there's all this.
Yeah, yeah.
There's numerous interpretations. And
Yes.
that's what makes it quite cool. It could just be a guy trying to get the wallet out out of a back pocket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Along
Um,
a piece like, let's say, like this one, along this, I mean, we're looking at acrylic here again, or is this watercolors?
it's a mix. What did I put in this one? I think it's acrylic ink and pencil, and maybe
All right.
some that white kind of gel pen as well for
Oh, I
highlights.
see.
Maybe I
It's
use
quite
everything in.
dense here, so I kind of thought it was acrylic here. But then here I'm looking at these washes, and it's just it felt like watercolor to me. But I understand. Yeah, you've done
There's
this with the white out, isn't it?
the hairs maybe, but the inside of the eyelid, the kind of gloss thing. Now
Hmm.
I use my acrylics. It depends. Sometimes I'll use them watery, but like for the eye itself, now it looks watery, but it's done by using a thicker paint with not much water in there. So it's almost I mixed the paints to get that kind of look.
All right.
So it looks quite thick, but then I added, I think, a layer on top of that then, which was a little bit watery,
Uh-huh.
and it gives it that kind of it. What I find, what I okay, when I paint, I always go from the like the traditional methods where you get your drawing, you get the burnt umber underneath or raw wherever, and build up with the undertone kind of colors, whereas the reds, blues, or greens, or wherever, and then add the flesh tones on top, and then the highlights and things like that. Sometimes go back into it and demolish it, and then bring it back up again. But
Yes.
yeah, it's that you only get that kind of depth of that kind of look. I'm still new to it, but I'm learning it. It's the look you
Uh-huh.
can't get if you paint directly onto white paper because you can tell.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and again,
Yeah,
this is stuff you can only do with oil. I mean, this the veiny thing here, which again, it could be interpreted as worms inside the eye, and you get this
yeah.
pop feeling.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That was
it's
yeah,
the
that was
physical
acrylic. Sorry.
essence. Yeah, the physical essence of
Yeah,
using those materials. It's just they come at you. They actually you can see them on top of the actual canvas, and
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
that's something that
I,
can only be done with the sort of paints.
yeah, I love the process.
Uh huh.
Like when I started to learn to paint, like that was the kind of thing that I was just really into at the time. I want to learn how to do this, and the more you do it, like the process itself is the it's not so much the end result; it's the process that I enjoy. And then
Yeah.
when you get it, and that's how I've arrived. All of a sudden I've got like loads of these things, and they all have this sort of vibe that I was trying to go go
Uh
towards.
huh.
And
Uh huh.
overall, I hope it will have this vibe. I mean, the reason why I called it Phantom was, like I said, there are, there are things that I remember, like books that I have certain images in my mind of what they were. I can't remember them exactly, but they've stayed with me. And I hoped I'd like this book to be on somebody's shelf, where some kid would pick it up, be a little bit disturbed by it, won't know what it was, but like maybe 40 years down the line, you'd be like me, you'd go, "What the fuck was that? Sorry, my language. What the hell was that
Yeah.
book?" And I remember these pictures, and it's their interpretation of that images, which is what's important in that kind of regard. I don't know. It's like a recreation, like I said, of that kind of thing. Hopefully, to give
Yeah.
kids nightmares.
I'm that kid. I perfectly understand where you're coming from. I'm the
Yeah,
guy that back when I was the mere toddler, and this is late 70s. I was lucky enough and fortunate enough of getting a lot of art books sitting around the house,
right.
and I indulged in them. And all those things, obviously, just like you said, they get imprinted into your
Yeah,
brain, and sometimes it's just pure. illustrations of, just straight illustrated books or illustrated novels, or sometimes a proper art book, a collection of art pieces. And
Yeah,
especially if they have themes like this, fantastical themes and creatures and all that crap.
yeah,
And it just stucks to you. And then when you eventually become a storyteller, if you're that lucky to have the time and go through the thought process and eventually invest like you and I do to actually go out there and release something, a
yeah,
storybook or a comic book or just an art book, all those things, even beyond your art education and even beyond what you start doing later on in adult life as an actual profession, like in your case, you've actually dealt in art and game development and all that. But
yeah,
those images that you get exposed to and influenced to in your very early life, they
yeah,
just stay stuck there, and then they just come back when you actually start the outpour of actually doing something and creating something. You go through the creative process. That's when those images get back from the
yeah,
subconscious, and they come forward. And then by then you've already masticated the ideas. You kind of digested the ideas, those those
yeah,
those fleeting images that are still there. And then you can do something special. You can do something out of it because you got all those influences, with very early ones that you just raw exposure to things like this. And then the stuff that you grow up with, and the Bernie Wrightsons and the Frank Frazettas and all that. And obviously the
yeah,
worlds they created and the techniques that they've explored. And then you put all that together in a cooking pot, basically. And that's when you finally start doing something that is
yeah,
original, that is great. So
yeah. Exactly. I hope hopefully it's scary now. I mean, like the whole thing, the last uh, the painting thing. When I got into that was like it seemed like I was looking to learn some kind of just learning how to do it because I've never really painted before, like 2015 or something like that. And so that, like oil paint's like pretty difficult when you when you first start. And like I
yeah.
said, the strange thing when the last couple of years of like bringing in ink into the process and acrylics, it's um like when you draw traditional kind of comics, you draw the outline. I mean, that in itself is an abstract way to draw because like nothing's an outline. Everything is just like the light or no light on reflecting off different shapes. So it's like how can I incorporate? Because I'm no good at the line work. I don't find like I seem to be finding my own kind of way of interpreting the line work. But
Hmm.
again, it's creating that kind of drawing from these old kind of images you have like from in your past and like trying to make something. And the last couple of years has been it's just been like really flowing out for some reason. And
Hmm.
yeah, something.
You hit
It feels like
stride.
there's something in the air anyway. Regardless,
Yeah.
a lot of
All right.
people.
I mean, you see this new kind of renaissance of the indie comics, as it looks that we're going through. You see
Yeah.
it as maybe as one of the main factors, maybe one of the engines that is making this kind of
Yeah, definitely.
more.
It's the last couple of years getting onto all everything on the internet, Comicsgate and things. Just um, it really lit a fire under my ass, so to speak. It seeing people make stuff, and I'm like it's taken me to like I've been into this for like a while, and it's taken me this long. It's still nerve wracking, but like it's only now I'm just going to bite the bullet and put something out. I've got a product, and why
Yeah,
not? And
take advantage of it.
yeah, well, yeah, I can't wait for people to hold it in their hands, the book, and the prints and the stuff that I have lined up for people. Hopefully, it'll be like just something. Do you know, like when you get a really cool package of just a bunch of stuff you can look at, and like I said, hopefully it'll go on somebody's shelf somewhere. Somebody's going to pick it up. Some kid,
Mm.
he's going to put it back before he gets caught. And years down the line, hopefully, he will just think, "What the hell was that crazy book I picked up?" Yeah, but
The parents are just gonna have on a top shelf. Tell
yeah,
me, tell me one thing. Uh, you don't have the campaign still on, so this is going to be on Indiegogo. So for
yeah,
people to purchase and support. So obviously the book is done. You got the sample here. He's ready to
Yeah.
ship. I mean, he's ready to print and ship. I guess this is a test copy.
Yes.
You What's the price point on these things? So because obviously you don't have the campaign yet on. So tell
Uh,
us what exactly you're going to be on offer.
Still figuring, but at the moment, I think the book is going to be £7, and you get two prints for that as well.
All right. So
And
the prints are the prints you're going to be there are some of the are chosen works from inside the book. Yeah,
yes, I'm. If the campaign does well enough, I'm going to up the prints and do more for it as well.
just two
But
more prints.
there's
Yeah.
yeah, but the main thing, like, be cool. What I thought is the book itself is £7, but also each one of the drawings, paintings in the book is for sale as well for £7. If you buy the book, and you have to buy the book and with the page, but so it's £14 for the book and one of the drawings in the book. So it's pretty cheap.
Oh, okay. Got it. So you're going to be offering. So again, how many works is it altogether? Individual works.
There's well, I would say 42 because the front inside page and the back inside page are part of the tier for the cover tier,
Right.
which will be the cover, them two pages plus the back cover, plus a bunch of other things like I got a little trading card I drew with some gold leaf in it, and just little cool stuff like that.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
So well, obviously you're going to have the book by itself, but then you're going to have 40 something pages available for purchase, basically. So boards, so
yeah,
artboards, the actual
the,
works. Okay.
yeah.
So you're not going to limit the campaign to 40 something backers, right? So
No,
you
no, no,
say
no. The basic offer is the book, which comes with two prints,
right, yeah,
and
that's it.
that's
And then
seven
if you
pounds.
want, right, that's great. That's a great offer. I mean, for a perfect bound book plus the two
Yeah,
prints, that's lovely. I mean, this is a lovely offer. I mean, art
yeah,
books usually doesn't matter the name involved on the actual cover. Usually, art books like this they go for at least £15 at least.
yeah,
So the double of that. So that's a very nice generous offer. I'm known for making generous offers as well. Always have to fudge myself in. Just remind everyone that the chromosome 96, the
yes,
first issues were on Indiegogo last November. Just a little heads up, a little interruption here. I know I shouldn't be doing it, but they will be shipping soon. And soon after that, I'm going to have some news for the people that missed the campaign the first time around. So, and not to worry, the people that actually purchased the books as floppy issues, they're not going to be on the losing end of it because again, that still is and will always be a first print run of high quality single issues. Whatever I'm going to be offering next, if there is going to be a reprint of that, which maybe it's the news I'm going to be launching soon, it's not going to obviously be exactly the same thing, but it's going to be something else as well that is equally good. But back to Phantom. So back
yeah.
to Phantom. So
I've seen you putting up like sneaky hints of something you got coming up next. Something filthy.
yes, that is going to be next. Yes, I mean I know I'm going to be arrested after that one comes out. So filthy it is that obviously I got to put all my eggs in one basket now because this is it. This is my swan song. I'm,
Go
I'm
for it.
pretty sure I'm gonna be banned in 52 different star systems after this crap comes out.
Oh,
But
God.
it's a work in progress anyway. But we have great plans for it. It's gonna be fun book, dirty book,
Yeah.
obscene book. But it's gonna have a lot of stuff attached to it. I'm thinking on doing something very unique, very original in terms of how the actual book is going to be made. And this, in
Okay.
principle, is not just a dirty book. It's not just the most R-rated book of the year, hopefully, but is also maybe a first. It's going to be an interactive book.
Oh,
If you guys are thinking
well,
like
most filthy
interactive,
books are interactive.
yes, yeah, yes, not necessarily in that in that kind of interactiveness.
Yeah.
But if we're thinking about this sort of high fancy eyebrow artsy fartsy kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
theater, it's usually in a little lounge with just 15 viewers, and the actors come off the stage and interact with the people on the audience. It's something like that, but made in a dirty copy.
All right.
So the idea is to use all the tools available right now to us through all these platforms, YouTube, and all that,
Yeah.
to make something a little bit unusual, a little bit interesting. So yeah, the next book, the one that we're going to be announcing very soon, is going to have a couple of layers to it. It's going to be interesting. So again,
Okay.
it's not just the idea is not just to launch a book, is to offer something different, something new. And
Yeah.
again, what you're doing in Phantom, it's just not just do a little ash can and get it out there. No, it's to
Yeah.
actually compile a lot of works that you've done over the years, exploring different themes, and then offering prints and offering the actual artboards. You're adding stuff to it.
Yes.
Do you want to speak about these pieces individually, just for a little bit more before?
I'm afraid I will, like you said, like I don't like to say anything about them. I just want people to open the book, look at these images, excuse me, and make what they make of them. There's
Yeah,
elements
sure.
of all kinds of things, and there are certain aspects in design as well. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, it. I hate to say it is what it is, because that is not what I mean. But it's 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 for you to like like I've got the book here at the moment, and I pick it up every now and again. I know it's because it's mine, but I'll pick it up and I'll flick through, and then I'll look at a certain image. Try to do it as an outside kind of person who's not seen it before, and I think there's a lot in there as far as detail and textures and the way I've used the paint and ink, enough for at least artists out there to maybe enjoy like some craziness I've put down there. Hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, in terms of interpretation, that's perfectly fine. You leave it as it is, like you say, it is what it
yeah,
is. Just I mean, sometimes that there might be a piece that is more pertinent for an artist in terms of a source of inspiration or anything like that. So again,
yeah.
if you want to, unfortunately, you've sent me a lot of material. I know. Oh God, I hate these pop-ups coming up all the time. It's like you're waking up in 5 hours. Yeah, I know I'm waking up in 5 hours. I need to remind me of that crap. You got a virus. You got something else here. Oh bloody hell! So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, send me a lot of stuff. I didn't manage to squeeze it all here now. There is much more there. I mean, I presume all the stuff you've sent, most of it is going to be in the book, isn't it? But I think you sent me a few other things as well.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a few other bits and bobs. I've got so much stuff, but like I said, over the few years, I mean, like this one and the previous one you just showed there. Now, those two are digital ones, and
these are digital.
the, that's digital, yeah, and the other one is. I drew these on one layer. That's one of the. This is one of the things that got me into painting. It was this point when I was drawing in digital, and I was pretty pleased with my progress
Mhm.
until somebody said, "Can I see him?" And then I was like, "Oh God, damn it! It
Oh
ruined
yeah,
everything." So
yeah.
that was the point where I switched to traditional media, and I've not gone back since.
Okay, these are companion pieces, by the way. And I'm just thinking this is obviously the same character, and that's the front, and this is the back. Yeah, like an
Uh,
exorcist kind of a
that
turn of the
that's
neck here.
no. It's it like I said, it is like you look at that. Like there are certain aspects sometimes where sometimes I know the drawing isn't right, but I'll go with it, and I'll try to make it as so you're not quite sure what's going on there. But it works sort of either way.
Yeah, again, this is my interpretation. Like the anime one earlier on, is completely down to the eye of the beholder. So, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's my take. And somehow I think she's aged from here to here. I'm saying she. I presume is a
How
female,
dare
but
you?
again, yeah, well, presuming presumption terrible. Romantic. Yeah, she's just aged suddenly, deteriorated herself and aged drastically.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, it seems to be a duel that's going to happen here. This guy is really running for it, and this one he's taking it cool. All right,
Yeah.
what happens next? He's been in some wars already though. Nice little gesture in the back.
Yeah, it's again, it's like implanting a scenario, even some of them are just portraits. Like I said, I learned from doing self portraits. So
Huh?
when it comes to these kind of characters in the book, they're like the portraits of them. It's almost making them normal. Like this is just normal in this kind of world, in this phantom kind of world kind of scenario that I've set up. Each one of the pages is like a glimpse into that. That
Mm.
you just got to accept that it is strange, and hopefully it is fun. It should be a fun little book, and the whole thing about when you get the book, it's just going to be like, hopefully it'll like go plonk on your doorstep, and you open it up, and the package itself is going to be nicely done, and inside everything just it's going to be a bargain. Hopefully, like
All right. Yeah.
the best bargain in CG. That's what I'd like.
Yeah. Well, interesting to know that the package itself is going to be special. Well, I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm definitely going to be backing this. I mean, I'm getting my own copy. I mean, I'm sure you have a small funding goal, isn't it? So you can kind of just
Yeah,
get this.
it's I think Indiegogo like it has they make it so you have to make it like 400-500 minimum, but the reality is that like if you back the campaign, you're going to get a book, and like I've already got the
Yeah.
prints. I've already got the prints, and even if like 3 people back it, you're going to get your book because I've
Yeah.
got those
Exactly.
already. So and
Uh,
if I get 4, it pays for like the thing anyway. So like everyone's it's gonna get fulfilled.
yeah. I mean, in terms of Indiegogo goals, I think if you do a flexible goal, is any value will do. I mean, it's just
That's it. Yeah, yeah,
if it's like you say 2 or 3 packers, it's just 2 or 3 uh, clients. That's it, consumers. That's it. They just bought a copy of the book, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just a platform. Really, it just works out as a platform to sell something. In that point, at that stage, Indiegogo, like Amazon would work because they'll end up taking a commission from it as well.
that's right. Yeah,
So that's why it's always worth to sell as many copies as possible because they'll take a commission anyway. So it'll be quite small if the goal hasn't been very large, but
yeah, yeah.
still, it's a small commission.
Yeah, it's like I'm really relieved because like I've got the book. I'm happy with it. There's a couple of adjustments that I'm going to make like to get the final book,
All
but
right.
otherwise like everything is ready. Everything is ready to go. Like apart from a few little extras, there's an extra zine to go with it. Actually, there's 2 extra zines. One a color 16-page zine and a black and white zine. That's 16 pages as well.
Oh, really? Is that all in the same package or the different
There'll be
tiers, different?
different tiers. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah, but
But yeah, the basic one,
look,
like I said, £7 for the book and
£7
two.
just a standard book.
Yeah, book and 2
And
prints,
two print.
£7.
That's it. Okay, well, pity you don't have yet the link. Again, it's coming out on Wednesday. I'll make sure to add the link to this video once it's going to go up.
Thank
Knowing
you.
YouTube and knowing the way they always screw me up, this little interview we're having here is probably going to take 48 hours to actually show up
Oh
on
God,
my
yeah.
channel. I don't know why. I don't know why YouTube is doing that lately, but it's been happening. That as soon as I finish a live stream, it doesn't matter how short it was. It's supposed to upload within an hour. It's supposed to be there already, ready for viewing, but somehow this just gets suspended. I think there's like a board of commissioners just checking my streams to see if they're adequate for 5-year-olds or something. I don't know what's happening, but there's something strange happening because
have
my
you
my
have you
streams are not actually available until a whole day later lately.
have you clicked the uh, uh, not adults only? There's a button you can click now, isn't it? Where it's not for children. Have you clicked that?
Yeah, I'm actually clicking that all the time. And actually, very interesting enough, the last video I had with the creator of Captain Love, I did a screenshot. I mean, I did a little thumbnail to be used as a video thumbnail for the
Yeah.
for the YouTube listing, and they've actually banned the thumbnail,
Oh God.
even though I specifically said the streaming was not for children, and even though the thumbnail was completely harmless. There was nothing in it that was like, these people in the Garden of Delights. But come on, there was nothing there. There was no full frontal nudity of any kind. There was some nudity involved, but very little, very, very, very tame thing. I mean, it's probably something
Per-
that will be in the nun's room.
Perhaps there just wasn't
Like,
enough nudity. Maybe next time up your game, more
yeah,
nudity.
I mean, unbelievable, isn't it? I
It
mean,
is.
these guys actually canceled out my thumbnail. They actually suspended my video because of that. And again, I would like to go on to greener shores and use different video platforms. I just don't
Yeah,
have the
one day.
patience to all set up because it's complicated. But
Yeah,
BitChute and all that, and there's many more people out there. And if YouTube carries on this way, I mean, they know their days are counted. It's a great
yeah,
platform. It's still the best platform, but they keep on screwing up the smaller YouTuber, the smaller creator, the smaller broadcaster, whatever you want to call it. And eventually, people just get fed up and they just walk out. So
exactly.
again, if the YouTube is listing, once again, reconsider, yeah, because you're fucking up. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming over, man.
No,
I
thank
look
you.
forward for
Thank you.
again. I will add the link to the video description below. Anything else you wanted to add? Any other heads
Yes.
up?
Yeah, a heads up, on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. UK, we
Mhm,
have CG, well, Carry On Streaming, which is all of us, and it's on Commie Mark's channel.
mhm.
And yeah, it's a bunch of us in the UK, and I'll be on there. Well, I'm not every week, pretty much, but I'll be putting the campaign out on that day, on Wednesday.
Oh, it's like this Wednesday will be a launch party then on that particular stream. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
kind of.
unofficially, I've I don't like to pester people with a launch. I'm just launching it, and I figured like Wednesday is a good day as any. So as we got a show and all that, might as well might as well do it at mine.
Mhm. So that's 10 p.m. right on Wednesdays. Yeah, with all the other UK creators. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to check that out as well.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
thank you very much for coming over. And before I go, a little heads up. Just wishing a happy birthday to my son. Actually, he's 18 today.
Oh,
He's
happy
he's
birthday.
abroad. Yeah, happy birthday. So I wasn't able to visit him. I mean, he's far away.
Yeah,
But just because I haven't even been able to call him because the internet is that bad. I was only able to call him through one of these apps on the phone. So
oh, I
just
know.
wishing him a happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
Oh.
birthday.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. And
Th-
I'm gonna go off. Actually, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. I don't know where I am anymore. Here we go.
Join the club. Same here.
Yeah, there we go. So we stopped sharing, and yeah, and this is it. This is bye bye. Thank for everyone coming over, and hope you enjoy the work of Peephole Circus. So his book is out on Wednesday. Go get that. It's only £7. You're going to be shipping internationally, I presume. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
awesome, all across the world. So everybody should at least have a look at the campaign page, and I'm sure get yourselves a copy. And thank you very much once again for listening to this what is this, a podcast? I guess it's a podcast,
Yeah,
whatever they call
podcast.
it.
YouTube show.
Yes, well, definitely a great show.
Best
But
show.
yeah, the usual thing of liking the video and subscribing. So we definitely need to subscribe to the channel so I can so I can feel that you guys deserve our presence here and do more of
Yeah.
these. Because otherwise, if you guys don't subscribe to the channel, what the heck, you're not gonna have the pleasure of our company.
Smash like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell. All those things.
That's it. Smash, break the computer.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See you all another day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.